All right, everyone. So welcome back to Breslov Efrat here at Shira David in the Sukkah Baruch Hashem. I wish everyone the Moedim the Simcha Git Mayit. Okay, so we're in the middle of learning Likutey Halachos Tefillin Halacha Vav. We're in the middle of Lamed Hey, and we're going to continue now where it says V'zeh bechinas Masha Omer Yaakov la'achiv liktu avona. Right, Yaakov Avinu said to his children when he had that encounter with Lavan. Right, he had that encounter with Lavan. So Yaakov Avinu said to his children to collect for me stones. Right, and he made that pile which we call the Gal Saadusa. Right, and what did we say those stones were? Those stones were all of the victories that we had over the evil inclination that tries to constantly infuse in our minds all kind of cuckoo thoughts. And every time we can have a victory over them, we create another little stone. So Yaakov Avinu was telling his children, and we should remember that. And Reb Nosson told us we have to remember that every victory we have is something special. Right? We tend to just focus on our shortcomings, right? But we're always learning from Rabbi Nachman. You always have to find in the Kudas Taivus, you always have to find good, right? That's right. So in other words, you had a victory, so that's wonderful. Focus on that. You stumbled, okay, fine. Then like we said, if you can keep that in your memory and you know about it, right? So then when you have it next time you're speaking to Hashem, right? You have your response, so then speak to Hashem and work that out. If you can't remember things that well, so then take a little notepad, and then when you realize you made a mistake, so write it down. Write it down, and then when you have your isbodas, take out your notepad and read your notes.
Oh, okay.
Read your notes, right? There's another idea, right? You can read your notes, and then as you're done with it, you can make a check next to it, right? You can make a check next to it. I wouldn't say to cross it out because we know there's a concept of tshuva ala tshuva, right?
Right.
So I say I'm sorry, but then I have to say I'm sorry again on how I said I was sorry. Right? So I didn't say to cross it out. So just make a check that you took care of it. And then the next day, make another check next to that, and keep making checks because we always focus on good.
Make a check. You mean
make a check next to it, so you know you addressed it.
You addressed it.
Right? Other people say they cross it out. No, I don't want to. Why should I cross it out? Just make a check.
I took care of this. I did tshuva.
That's right. All right. So those are the avonim. Okay. She kapsu v'yilaktu yachtav kol avnei kodesh shem etzneitzes hakadoshim shenizbaru ayidei masha hayu menakim atzman b'chol pam mimachshavos rois l'tayvos. Every time that you change the bad thought into a good thought. You hear this? You see how beautiful that is? Every time you had a thought that was going to come to knock you down, to take you away from your simchas hachayim, your joy in life, right? Your joy in serving Hashem, and you were able to overcome that, and you were able to put another thought in there, right? So that is a victory. That's special. That's a holy spark. That's a very special thing.
So get a rock.
Well, you get a rock. Yeah, it's a diamond. Yeah. Umehem also gal umechitza, and that's how he made that pile, and he made that separation. Lahafsik beinam uvein hamachshavos rois, to separate the bad thoughts from the good thoughts. He made that pile, used that pile of rocks to make that to make that separation. We said the same way we said Lavan. Why is Lavan's name Lavan? Remember we said? Because he's white, right? White. He says, he comes in as he's a good guy, and the thoughts come in as if they're good ideas, they're good things, but you have to know where it's coming from, right? Yes?
Is this the same pile of rocks that he lied down on?
No.
Okay.
And then he got 12 stones. He put 12 stones around his head, and they turned into one stone.
Wow.
Here now, because they were all fighting, Rashi says, they were all arguing which stone's going to be under the head of the tzaddik.
So you turned
So they
into
took one stone. Yeah. What? No. The Eben Shasiyas, that's on the Kodesh Kedoshim. No, but the Eben Shasiyah preceded that. From what I remember learning, the Eben Shasiyah preceded. That's where Kodesh Baruch used that in order to evolve everything of the world. The Eben Shasiyah is something else. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And the ladder went to Bethel.
Yeah. Well, it says asula mutzav atza v'roishay megia shemaima, right? That's what the pasuk says, right? Sula mutzav arza was planted in the ground, right? The ladder was planted in the ground, and it reached up onto high. And there was malachim oilim v'yordim. Oh, I think that's what the pasuk says. All right.
You knew there were going to be 12 tribes. Is that why 12 rocks?
Possibly. I don't know, but that's what. If you take a look at the Rashi over here, you see that's what Rashi says. Okay. Bein mashlois ki kula miskapsim ve'oizim l'odam ve'eis hadachai. Whenever the person finds himself in a desperate moment, right? So all of those victories, all of those things are there to give you assistance, to assist you, so you can continue to be successful, right? It's a very beautiful thing. It's very empowering to know that, whenever you have these victories, and you're in a war, and each one's a battle. So each time you won the battle, you have a victory, right? But you still didn't win the war, right? You won the battle. You're in a war. And you keep winning battles, right? So the more battles you win, the better right? The soldiers feel good, right? Because they won another battle, right? They were victorious, right? They felt victorious, but they know they still have the war to fight.
So instead of reminding ourselves of all the bad things we've done,
exactly.
We have a list that keeps reminding
right.
us.
So then
what
do the soldiers do? The soldiers, when they go to the next battle, think, well, we were just successful. Let's use those same methods that we just did there. Let's try that again.
Yeah.
Right? And they use one victory to create their next victory.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
I was not a soldier, but I read about these things, so that's how I know. Right? Anything in life, right? If you had a success on something, right? So then use that success, use the techniques of that success in order to advance forward. That's all. All right?
Cool.
Yaakov the Lavan Arami. Yaakov said to Lavan, remember he's white, Lavan. Right? He's white, but he's really black. Right? What did you say the other day, Shalom? Right? You said the other day that there used to be in the old movies, right? Oh, I'm sorry, we're talking about movies, but yeah, in the old movies, the white guys wore white hats, the good guys wore white hats, and the bad guys wore black hats, right? Right? But today, we see that really older than that, Lavan was a bad guy wearing a white hat.
Right.
Ad Hagal Hazeh, and Yaakov said to Lavan, okay, you can go till this point. You can't cross this line. You see that? You can go till this point. Don't go past this line. Ki im loy ever elecha im ata loy sava elai es hagal hazeh. We know it's basically you stay where you are, I stay where I am. I keep my good thoughts where I am. You keep your bad thoughts on the other side, and let's leave it like that. Right? Ki kvar asisi gala mechitza menekudes teive sheyafsiku beini uveincha v'loy sava oid elai. All right. So now we made this pile of these stones, and now we understand the significance of the stones, right? Otherwise, we thought they were just rocks. No, but they're not rocks. These are special rocks of every victory that the Shvatim had from every time that they were able to switch the thought that came in their minds, that bad thought that came in their mind, and switch it to a good thought. That's an amazing thing, right? I won't cross over on your side. Don't come to me, and I won't go to you. Ki eini roitze oi lichnois lemekoimcha shehem mekoimes achitzoniim Ki ein ani roitze oid l'saken nafshi sham. I don't want to risk my life over there anymore. In other words, I had to go do what I had to do. I had to go get the Leah and Rachel, right? Right? He had to go get right? 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 He had to go.
Right, yeah.
He had to go over there in order to start his family. So he had to risk his life a little bit to do that. But he said, okay, now that we have everybody here now, I'm done.
I'm done. That's it. Yeah.
I'm done now. Now we set this thing up. You stay there. I'll stay here. I don't have to risk my life anymore dealing with you.
Right.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Yeah, it's so wonderful how Rav Nosson is making the story come alive in a different way, right?
Oh yeah.
The story is really coming alive. Now we're going to come up to these parshas very soon. Right, next couple of weeks, right? We're going to be reading these stories, right? They're the latter, right? We're going to be reading the story with Lavan, right? Right? And so now we'll have some new ideas of what really was going on with these stones, and what was going on with those stones, and the Rolling Stones, right now. Rak ani ever al mikoimi la'asik b'Torah tefillah. I'll stay on my place. I'll study Torah. I'll daven to Hashem. I'll talk to Hashem. I'll do the things I have to do, and you go do what you want to do. V'ata loy sa'avo elai, v'ani loy evo elecha. He says it again. I won't go to you, and you don't come to me. We're parting company here, right? You see that? We're parting company here, and we're not going to engage any further. And through these stones that we gathered together, through all of these movements and through all of these things that we did in order that was good. Yeah.
No, there's what it says here is that one must remain steadfast in one's place. Of course, talk about you stay your place, I'll stay mine.
Yeah.
And study Torah and pray, for they are all gathered to help the person in his time of need when the forces of evil are extremely overwhelming.
We said that.
Yeah.
We're past that.
Okay.
Yeah, we said that all of those good things are there to assist you at your time of need.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I make that connection for some reason. Thank you.
It wasn't a connection. You're not following on the Hebrew side. You're only reading on the English side.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. They call Mashayisi Menatek Atzmi Miral Etoiv. Every time I disconnected myself, right? Every time yeah, that's a good word. No, maybe not disconnect. Disengaged. I disengaged myself from not take means to disconnect, but okay, disengage, we'll change it like that. Disengage myself from the ra to the good, and I rather engaged in the good. Okay. So far, so good, right? This is an amazing idea that we can really use on a daily basis, right? You can really use this on a daily basis because the thoughts are always coming in. So now we understand the same way Yaakov Avinu set up his wall. And what did he use to set up the wall? All of those victories. Those were the little stones, right? All of those stones were the victories. And he made that thing that you don't go on my side, I don't go on your side. Right? It's the same thing. We can do this every day in our lives. Okay. This is what we say now. So again, we're learning. Rav Nosson goes back and forth, right? We're learning about the idea of the Omer, right? We talked about the Omer, right? We have to sift it and straighten out the things in our minds, right? Rav Nosson taught us how to straighten out our minds, right? Now you're learning all this stuff. We have all that junk in our minds, right? So we have to sift through it, right? First, we have to use that funnel, right? Right? And then we use the sieve, and then we use the sifter, right? And we sifted and sifted and sifted to have only good. Okay, and then once we said that, okay, now during the Sefira, that was for the Omer, right? When they did the Omer, so they had to use, there were 13 different levels of the sifting of the flour, correct? Right? And they had to sift it so it's very, very, very fine. So now once we're talking about that, okay, in the middle of the Sefira, getting to Kabbalah Satar is Lag BaOmer. Ki kol Yemei HaSefira, mevarim beirurim, ayidei kedushas hamachshava bechinas hanal. Because the whole thing of Sefira is cleaning up, straightening out our thoughts, getting out of the thought process of Mitzrayim, right? Mitzrayim says, I can't change, I'm stuck. We're always going to be stuck, right? That's Mitzrayim. We're stuck. But we know that we're out, we can be out, we are free, and we can always change because we're always new people, right? We know that the Sphira, right, the count of 49 days, is our preparation to get to the acceptance of the Torah, right? Kabbalah Satorah. Lishmar machshavtoi oz biyoyser mi'oid mi'oid. To watch we have to be very, very careful that we watch our thoughts during that time period. Really, we have to do this all the time. But Rav Nosson is focusing on that time, but really you have to do this every day, right? It's not only that time. Don't think, well, you're seeing what we're talking about here. Then Sphira, okay, so I'll wait to keep my thoughts clean and straighten out when I get to Sphira. I got news for you. If you wait till then, and you just, it's never going to happen, right? It's never going to happen, right? So this is really something you have to do all the time. Ki kedusha zamachshava hi ikar kedusha ve'ikar hachna lekabbalas haTorah sheteluya b'tikun habris. The whole thing, all of the machshava comes by a person working on tikun habris, right? Having sexual purity, right? Working on purity. Where does it start from? What we see, right? What our eyes see. If we look at good things and we don't look at things we're not supposed to look at, right? Va'mevin yavin, right? Right? People, you understand, right? If you don't look at things you're not supposed to look at, you keep the eyes clean, so then the thoughts will be clean, so then the person will stay more pure. Right? Makes sense, right? It's
All right, wait. I have a question.
Please.
In thoughts, what I'm saying. Oh, we get punished for our actions, okay?
Yes.
Our actions, but not for our thoughts.
Wait, hold on a second. No. You know, we have a carbon. Let's say a person does a mistake, right? He does an avera inadvertently, right?
Right.
So he brings a carbon chatas, right?
Okay, yeah.
But there's also a carbon ola.
Okay.
What's a carbon ola for? Thoughts.
That he wasn't sure, right? Isn't that
Thoughts
what it was for?
come from thought. He didn't do anything yet. He
there's
thought.
the carbanola is for thoughts? Yeah.
Thoughts. Yeah, thoughts. He didn't do anything yet, but he had a thought. Okay? So yes, there is a concept that Chazal tell us that you're not, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mitzaref a maisa, right? He's not mitzaref the machshava l'maisa. He doesn't make the machshava to be a maisa, right? Your thought is not an action, right? But yes, okay, that's by the letter of the law. But if you want to live your life and to be a happy, productive person, constantly connected with Hashem, mitzvahs, Torah, Jewish people, the land of Israel, everything else, all that good things, so you have to really watch what you're thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, too.
Yeah, you have to fill your mind with good things. Fill your mind with good things, because again, based on what's in the mind, is what we're going to imagine, and what we imagine is what we follow through, right? Mm-hmm. You imagine that something's going to be like this or like that, and then you want to go do it, right?
Yeah.
Well, we learned a lot about that, right? We learned a lot about the idea of imagination, right? Right? Did we learn a lot about that?
Yeah.
So,
where does the imagination come from? When you see something. Right? Like we said, the whole advertisement marketing, what do? They make you see something, now you think about it, now you imagine, if I had that thing, that'll be good. Right? I'm just giving you an example, you can understand that, right? But anything that you see, if you're looking at good things, so then you're always going to be thinking good things, imagining good things. Right? This whole lesson is based on seeing the tzaddik, remember?
Right,
seeing the tzaddik. When you see the tzaddik, so it sets your mind straight. Right. Remember, that's, we got off a little tangent, but that's really what the lesson that we have to go back to, right? Is when I see the tzaddik, it really it helps me to understand, what I want in life, what's important in life. Right?
So Rabbi Rieti one time said that the only time our thoughts are a problem is with avodah zarah. So
that's right. No.
These things considered avodah zarah in a sense?
Yeah. One second. That's true. Okay, and it's very interesting. that if you see the Gemara in Sanhedrin, it talks about that really all of the other karbanos are learned out. The chatas is learned out from the carbon ola. In other words, you take the ola, right, which was a burnt offering, right, because it's no good. See, the burnt offering, the bad thought is no good. So that's an ola. What's an ola? It's a total burnt offering.
Totally burnt.
Nobody gets anything. No one gets anything. It's kulei Hashem, right? The chatas, so the mizbeach got a part. When a part got burnt on the mizbeach, a part got eaten by the kohanim, right? And then you got a part, right? Whoever brought the carbon got a piece. Got something to eat as well, right? Everyone got a piece of that, right? Because again, the chait, but because they teach us, the thought is really totally no good. If you have a no good thought, you got to burn it out, get rid of it. Get rid of it. That's what we're learning here. Change it.
So how do we do that?
And then
today,
wait.
bring it all up?
Okay, wait a second. And avodah zarah, it's true it's for avodah zarah, but really, why did we ever do avodah zarah? Chazal tell us because they wanted to do arayas. We wanted to do sexual promiscuity, right? That's what we really want to do. So the Torah says I can't do this. Oh, but the avodah zarah says I can. Oh, so then that's good for me. You understand? Avodah zarah is only an out to get to where I want to get to. You understand? It's a fake license. It's a fake license, right? It's a fake license telling you, well, if I subscribe to this, so then I can do all these other things that I want to do. Right. The Torah tells me I can't do these things, well, but this thing says it can. Oh, so I'll get this fake license. You see, I can do what I want now. See, I get a license.
Avodah zarah is the fake license.
Yeah.
And we use that because that's what we want to do.
Yeah. That's why we had the Egel in the first place. To be Mati Arayas. They wanted to be Mati Arayas. They wanted
We
Arayas.
think that's what we want to do, but our soul really doesn't want to do that.
No, the soul doesn't want to do that. No, that's the evil inclination.
Right.
Yeah, when we give in, when we don't watch our thoughts, we don't follow the advice that we're learning here, so then it can lead to all of those things.
Right, yeah.
We don't want to go in that place.
So is there a way that we can do the Orla offering today?
Yeah, when you say the Ola offering, as if you brought the Ola offering. Yeah, when you read the Karbanas, it says that Ki'ilu.
It's in the Karbanas. Okay.
Yeah. Ki'ilu. It's as if I brought this. Please, Hashem, make it as because I said this, right? Because since I said this, please consider it as if I brought the carbon. Right? I always say that it's a great thing, because if we had to bring all those big animals, it would be very expensive. Right?
Yeah,
Right.
sure.
And
Right? You go buy these big animals, right? You buy a bull, right? That's got to
be a lot of money.
That's going to cost a lot of money. But now you can sit there and say the carbon chatas. Say, wait a second. Say the carbon chatas, and you read it. How long did it take you to say? 3 minutes, 2 minutes, a minute and a half.
We could read it. Oh,
You read it as if you said it. You could just think about what you're saying there. Well, you save a lot of money.
And time.
Well, time too. You have to go get the animal and
travel to sit.
You're gonna have to deal with the animal rights groups.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. Okay. Does that help? Reb Simcha? Does that help? Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Thank
Fair
you.
rights.
No. So that's really the thoughts. Is really But you're right. We're not punished for the thought. But if you don't go in the right way with thoughts, it's just going to be downhill.
You're downhill. Yeah, right.
It's
exactly.
all going to be downhill. Yeah. So we're learning how to be going always uphill, traveling nicely, and coasting uphill.
Okay.
Yeah, usually you coast downhill, right? But we're learning how to coast uphill. Yeah. We're trying to go up.
With electric fuel.
Yeah, we're electric.
There's that, what is it, a Muka? That they have that hill there? We actually go uphill?
Yeah.
Did you hear about it?
Oh,
You ever see that?
In Moran.
Outside of Marone. Yeah.
Outside of Moran. I saw it.
You saw it, right?
I saw it.
Yeah.
Pour water on the hill and it goes
You
up.
never heard of that?
No, I never saw it. No.
Yeah,
Okay, but okay.
it's an optical illusion, obviously. I mean, it really.
Yeah.
Gravity doesn't let it go up.
But it
But
looks
all right,
like-
anyway.
It looks like it's going up.
But tikkun abris sheteluya b'machshava. Look what it says here. Tikkun abris is dependent on your thought. If you want to be pure, it's depending. That's dependent on your thoughts. In other words, you can't be pure with impure thoughts. Someone's deluding themselves. They think I can think what I want, I can watch what I want, I can do what I want, but I'll be very pure. No. That's a delusion. Right? Okay, b'yoyim lag b'oimer kvar zeichin klal Yisrael levara beirurin harbe. When it comes to the 33rd day of the Omer, right? So we started from day 1, we got all the way to 33, right? Means we passed Lev. And we said that the other day, Lev. Lev is 32. 33, we're working on Tov. Tov is 17. Lag BaOmer, the whole sphere turns into Lev Tov, a good heart.
Right.
How do you get a good heart? The first 32 days, right? And then you have 17, right? And 17 makes 49. Tov is 17. Lev is 32.
Right. And so what's 49?
39 and 32 and 17 is 49. The Omer.
Omer
When we
is
count,
49?
when we count the Sphira, how many days do we count the Sphira, Simcha?
49.
49, that's your 49.
Oh, there's the 49.
That's the day, 49 days.
Right.
So you have 32 days of you cleaning up the heart, you're rebuilding the heart,
Right.
and then the next 17 days you're working on making the heart good.
Right. Okay.
All right, okay. Ad shenase bechinas hagal, until we make that little pile, that little boundary, that little border, right? Bechinas ad hagal hazer. In other words, Lavan, you go until this point. You can't go past my you can't go past my wall, right? And what do we make that wall out of? All of the good thoughts, all the victories of every time we change the thought.
Right.
From thinking something negative, we thought something positive. Okay? Shemafsik ben kedushas Yaakov levein tumas hamachshava Yisrael, that makes a separation between the holiness of Yaakov, of Jacob, right? And the impurity of the impure thoughts shall bechinas love and arami, which is love and arami. Again, why love and arami? Because the thoughts come in that it's not something so bad, it's really good, right? That's why the thoughts come in. They come in that way. Yeah, you could think about this. This is okay. It's not so bad. It's really a good thing, right? That's what the thought does. So that's love and harami. Right, Lavan, it's white, but he's trickery. Arami, right? He's trickery, right? Lavan is always trying to trick us, and that's really what the machshavas are trying to do. That's coming in from the Lavan, okay? Kihika beiru bechinas hasheva midas. Really, the beiru comes from the 7 different attributes, right? The 7 attributes, which is known as the zer anpin, right? What are the 7 attributes? Chesed, Gevura, Tferes, Netzach, Hoid, Yesod, and Malchus, right?
Those are the 7?
Those are Chesed, Gevura, Tferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, Malchus. 7.
7. Oh, right. The 7.
7.
Yeah.
7.
Oh, the lower 7. Yeah.
The lower 7, which is known as the Zer Anpin. Okay, in the Kabbalah, that's known as the Zer Anpin. Okay, we learned about that. Okay, Shemehem. That's where all the different thoughts come in the mind. All the thoughts come in through those through those attributes, right? Chesed, things of Chesed, things of Gvura, things of Tferes, things of Netzach, victory, right? Like today is the Shpizin of Aharon Akoyin, right? Today is Aharon, right? So what is the one on the Shpizin? Right? To give thanks to Hashem. What was Aharon always doing? Is thanking Hashem. That's what we have to do. So thank Hashem. And there's all of these things, all of the different attributes is what we use that manifests our actions. So we want to connect to the different spheros. We want to connect to these different attributes. And that's why during the sphera, we do a week of each one of the spheros, right? The first week is the week of chesed. The second week is the week of gvura. The third week is the week of tveres. The fourth week is the week of netzach and hod and Yisod and Malchus, and that's how you get the 7 weeks, okay? Right, yeah. And then each week, what we do is we're taking each one of the spheres and we're interacting it with the other
ones, yeah.
Right? So the first day is Chesed Shebechesed, the other day is Gvura Shebechesed, the next day is Tferes Shebechesed. So we're trying to mix them all together so we can clean up all of those thoughts and we can change our actions the way we do things, okay? Okay, so Sheva Khalifa is Machlifa Sheberoish. Okay, Ki HaMachshava is Cholfen V'Oivrim Ala Adam Kifi Amidos, because the thoughts are switching, constantly switching. Cholfen, right? They're cholef. They keep changing. They keep changing and passing through the person Kifi Amidos according to the midos that the person is attached to, right? According to the midos that the person is attached to. What does that mean? Right? So you take the midah of chesed, right? Right? So chesed is connected with water. Chesed is connected with ahava, love, right? So if a person has misplaced love, so that's using the sphere in the wrong way. But he can have ahavas Hashem, he could love Hashem, he could love his family, he could love Klal Yisrael, love Eretz Yisrael, right? Love good things, right? Love good things using the love in the proper way, right? But it could be in the wrong. Each one of the midas can be done in the wrong way, right? Gvura, right? So a person can be cruel to somebody, can be judgmental to someone. Why? Or he could do it in another way. Use the gvura, like we said, use the arrogance, right? The gvura is like arrogance, right? So use the arrogance in a holy way. Right? Something that's questioning my Yiddishkeit, I can work on that, right? So use the midas in a good way. Right? Okay, now. Ikar hamidas heim chamesh michesed ad hod. The main ones are the first 5 till hod. Okay? Till hod. Because the last 2 are Yisod and Malchus, right? The main ones are really the first 5. Watch what he says. Yisod Malchus, ein bechinis klolius, the klolius, right? Because Malchus really has nothing by itself, right? Malchus is only dependent on everything else. Like a king, if he has no constituents, if he has no people, he's no king. What makes a king? A king has people that follow him. That makes him the king, right? But he has nothing by itself. It's leis gamrei. It has nothing by itself. Malchus has nothing by itself. It's dependent on everything else. So therefore, the first 5 midos are very, very important because that's how you're building your Malchus.
Oh, okay, right.
Right? In other words, you need to build your Malchus, right? So how are you going to build your Malchus? By working on the attributes in your life in a positive way. So then you're building the Malchus, okay? So on the 5th day of the 5th week, right? The 5th day of the 5th week. Shehu Lag Boimer, right? That's Lag Bomer, the 5th day of the 5th week. 5 and 5, right? If you have 5 weeks, right? 5 weeks and 5 days, you're in the 5th week and you're on the 5th day. So how many days is that?
5 weeks.
You have 6 complete weeks. 6 complete weeks is what?
42.
Huh?
42.
No. Well, yeah. You want to say something? Chag Sameach. We're starting that we had 4 complete weeks and we're in the 5th week. So 4 complete weeks is 28. And then plus 5 days?
33.
That's Lag Bomer.
That's Lag Bomer.
That's Lag Bomer. That's how you get. So 5, we're saying 5 is the most important. The first 5 of the Spheros are the very important ones, right? Chesed, Gevura, Tferes, Netzach, Chayid are the most important ones. That'll
Netzach is
victory.
victory, and Hod is
Thanks.
thanks.
Giving thanks to Hashem, right? So that's on the fifth week, on the fifth day. Kivar nigmar habeir shel bechinas hod. So we really finished the clarification of the midah of hod, because we're on the fifth week, on the fifth day. So we fixed the 5 and the 5, right? We worked on that.
Right.
Hein bechinas hashvuos, ve'hein bechinas hayomim, within the weeks and in the days, right? Because I'm in the fifth week. I'm within the fifth week on the fifth day. And therefore that day is hod of hod, right? So we said each time we're intermingling, right, the different spheres with each one of the days. So the fifth week is the week of hod, right? And the fifth day is the day of hod. So you have hod, sheba, hod. Thanks of thanks. Right? Real thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. Here we go. Very good.
What's the time with Lag BaOmer for that?
That's the day of Lag BaOmer is Hod Shebahod.
Right, so that's important. I mean, I'm trying to make
That's it.
get the meaning out of that or something.
Before Lag BaOmer, you're doing your tikkun.
You're working on tikka, fixing your mind, fixing the spheres,
Okay.
fixing everything. When you get to Lag BaOmer, you're in the fifth week. Hod is the most important one. And you're on the fifth day, right?
Okay.
And on the fifth day, and then you're on the 5 and 5. And then you're in the fifth week,
Okay.
and the fifth day makes 33.
So what are we doing after that? Because the 17 was important. We talked
17 is Tov.
about Tov. Okay.
You finished building your heart. So you give thanks Hashem for that. Right? You
And then
cleaned up the heart.
And then everything is good.
You don't need the angioplasty. You don't need all those things, right? You cleaned up your heart. You got everything all straightened out. Okay? You got all the plaque out. Everything's out. You cleaned it up. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? And then you work on making it tov. Right? Okay. Shulag by Mekivan Nigma, Yam Valkin Azu Hoitabite. So Nechshav Kilu Nigma Beir Meakashika Midas Ad Hod, because we said the main Mida is still the Mida of Hod. That's the main one that we really that we work with. Valkin Oz Nase Bechinas Hagal Shu Mafsik B'Machshava Bein Kedusha V'Asit Racha Shaloi Tikrav Od Ba'armumi Yasa. He won't come with his crookedness, right? He won't come back with that crookedness. You'll understand when he's coming to you with that crookedness, you'll understand that it's crooked, right? You'll understand that it's crooked, and you'll know what to do because you set up that boundary. You set up that little wall with all of those stones, so you already know what's going on. V'ramusa in his trickery. Lahaknis machshava Yisroel chas v'shalom, to put the bad thoughts in, but now we'll know how to do that, and now we just learned how to do that on a daily basis, right? We understand how to do that. Whenever there's even a thought that's coming in and you're not sure, just change it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it, like we said, a hair's breadth. It's even so thin like a hair's breadth. Change it, right? And don't say you can have 2 thoughts at one time, because we said 2 hairs can't grow out of one socket at the same time. Right? We said only can be 1 hair growing out of each socket, correct? All right, now, v'chol zeh, b'koyach tzadikim ha'gedolim she'em bechinas etzneitzitz Mashiach. And that's through the tzadikim. Through the tzadikim, which the tzadikim are awakening of Mashiach, right? Because what's the whole idea of Mashiach is to bring everyone back to Hashem, right? Mashiach brings everyone back to Hashem, puts the world back on the right track that it's supposed to be, right? He guides the world on the right. So that's what the tzaddikim are doing. They're trying to guide us, right? Every Rebbe, every Rosh Yeshiva, right? Every tzaddik is trying to help the people. They're trying to help the people to go in the right way. So that's an aspect of Mashiach. So that's the day of Rashbi, right? Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, right? Rashbi, right? That's the day of Rashbi, which is Lag BaOmer, is Rashbi, Tzaddik HaEmes, right? They say that if the Rashbi is a Gilgal of Moshe Rabbeinu, right? Shezochel istalik oz that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was able to pass away on that day. On that day was a complete tikkun. It was a complete repair, because he was able to live his life in that way of the Hod, and he passed away on the day of Hod, Hod Sheba Hod. That's the day he left the world, to teach us how important that day is. And that's the day that the Talmidim Rabbi Akiva stopped passing away, right? 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 We were in the mourning period because the 4,000 students Rabbi Akiva were dying, right? But when it came to Lag Bomer, that stopped. Baruch Hashem. And we had 5 left. He only had 5 left. Out of 24,000.
Wow.
24,000. Rabbi Akiva. Well, I say, try to think about that sometimes. Rabbi Akiva had 24,000 students. Could you imagine? And he went to all those funerals.
Wow.
Could you imagine that?
He went to every funeral, huh?
Could you imagine that of all of his students? Could you imagine that?
In 33 days?
23,995 funerals, levayas. Could you imagine that?
Is that even possible in 23 days?
Yeah. No, in 32 days.
32 days, yeah.
32 days, yeah. Could you imagine what he dealt with? He saw his world falling apart. He built this world, right? 12,000 students he had the first time. He came back and he had 24,000 students, right? Right? 24, and he saw 23,995 pass away. Amazing. But it didn't flinch. He didn't flinch. It didn't bother. He just brushed himself off and he started again. That's the greatness of a tzaddik. That's the greatness of a tzaddik. Ki hu hiskil lahamshich tikuna dedikna, because he started to bring the points of the beard, the 13 points of the beard. Thank you, Simcha Yadei, for sharing that with us. That note that you put in the group, right?
Shehem tikun, yeah.
Right? Shehem. Well, you put it in. You better.
I got to read it. Yeah.
It would behoove you to read it. You put it in, right?
Right.
Shehem mechinas sa'arais hakedaishes, the holy hairs. And again, we keep talking about the hairs because, again, whenever you have a thought that comes in, even a hair's breadth, switch it right then and there. Don't let it develop. Because if you let it develop, if you engage that thought, it's going to get strong and it's going to be harder to switch it. So right when it starts to come in and you have that thought coming in, change it right then and there. Don't even think, don't engage it. Don't engage it. Shemayem nimshachem eitzes kedoishes belev lama keneged amachshavos rois sheim bechinas sa'aros the sitracher. Right, the same way, and we said that on the head, the hair on the head is din, right? Is grura, right? But the hairs that we said of the beard are chesed, right? Chesed and rachamim, right? So you want to engage in those things of the chesed and rachamim, the good thoughts, and so on like that. Okay. Bechinas Esav is Sawyer. Esav was the man of Sawyer. He was from the place of Sawyer, but Sawyer means also hair. Esav, we know that Esav was very hairy, right?
Right.
Esav was very hairy, right? Because he was part of all of those hairs, all of those thoughts, the bad thoughts. You understand? But Rabbi Shimon was connected to the 13 points of the beard, the 13 points of mercy, rachamim, which was against Esav, with his hair, because his hair is only coming in. That's why Yaakov Avinu set up that boundary, right, with the rocks of all the victories. Love, and you stay on that side, I'll stay on my side. You don't cross, I won't cross over to you. You don't cross over to me. The buck stops here. Right? That's what he did, right? Ki bechut ha'sa'ira nitzoylin me'em, because with a chut of sa'ira, with even a hair's breadth, you can be protected, you can be saved from all the other thoughts. This is a fascinating lesson. Really in psychology, it's really a fascinating lesson. Really to understand the way the mind works. Right? Rav Nosson teaching us really how the mind works and how we could work on the thoughts, what comes in, and how I could mamish be besimcha all the time, because the Rabbi Nachman says mitzvah gedola liyos besimcha, right? We have to be besimcha. Right? We're in the middle of the holiday of Sukkot, holiday of joy, right? But how are you going to be joyful if you have all these thoughts and you're not going to be joyful, right? So that's why this is really a fundamental lesson. And even we said that even with Milei Deshtusa, right? Even if you do something silly,
Even do something still.
even do something. Rabbi Nachman talks about that. If you want to see that, that's in Likutey Moran Tinyan, the second book, right? The second book of Likutey Moran, in lesson 24. Okay, all right. Lesson Chav Dalet. That's where Rabbi Nachman talks about, and he mentions the idea that even with Milei Deshtusa, even if you have to do silly things, why do silly things? Because again, if you realize you can't change the thought, right? That the thought's bothering you, right? And you can't do it. So what do? You do something silly. Why? Because then the Yetzer Hara is going to say, okay, he's doing something silly. I'll let him go. Let him do something silly. But again, we learned yesterday, the day before, you don't let the Yetzer Hara know what your plan is. You're doing something silly because you know you're only doing that silly thing to think about something else. But you don't let him know, the same way you don't let your enemy know what your next move is, right?
Right.
Who's your real enemy? The Yetzer Hara. He's the real enemy. He's the real enemy. So if you have something that comes in your mind and you don't like the thought, and you didn't remember this to change the thought, right? You didn't remember, and it started to develop, and now you're trying to change it, but you can't. So just do something silly. Just do something silly.
I'm just going to throw, I had this thought
Okay.
that if there's something that I don't want to do, like, let's say overeat,
Okay.
I'm going to really eat a lot today. That is my plan. I'm going to eat a lot. I'm trying to trick the Yetzer Hara into thinking, I'm going to eat a lot. I'm so excited. I'm going to stuff myself.
But you're not allowed to tell the Yetzer Hara what you're going to do, right? That's what we just said. Don't tell him what you're doing.
Yeah, but I'm telling him I'm going to do something he's going to like.
No, but he understands English. So when you say you talk to the Yetzer Hara in English, he understands it. The only thing he doesn't understand is Aramaic. So if you want to talk about it, so you got to learn how to speak Aramaic.
No, he's saying tell him the opposite of what you're going to do. That what you're saying more.
Oh yeah, okay, but don't tell us don't say the plan though.
Right. Don't say the plan. I want to stuff my face with ice cream. Gallon of ice cream today.
Wow. Okay. Enjoy.
Gallon of ice cream.
Enjoy. Wow.
Sick as a dog.
Wow. A gallon of ice. Wow. Okay. Okay. Either way. Okay. So we're okay, guys. Any other comments?
Beautiful.
David, you want to say anything? You want to add anything?
No, it's really good.
Shalom, you want to say anything? No? Okay, good. All right, everyone have a good Moed. Moedim l'simcha.